Now, who do you think is more patriotic in this country? Rich people or poor people? You know, I mean, it seems like the rich people talk about patriotism all the time, and the poor people maybe a little pissed in our country because they are poor. So, you know, that's a little more understandable. I heard a book the other day. It's called Get What's Yours. You know, the secrets of maxing out your Social Security. And actually, it sounds like a book I would write. But the people who write the book actually are rich people. Yeah, they don't even need Social Security. You know, and they're figuring out how to get an extra $50,000 from Social Security. And apparently, it's nothing that Social Security was for. I mean, Social Security was set up for poor old people, you know, after the Depression, you know, to solve, you know, the problem of old people that are working in factories, couldn't work anymore, and to live, you know, and that's why Social Security is a little dated, you know. But here's rich people figuring out how to get more out of the Social Security system, and because it's legal, they justify it. Hey, I could screw the government out of $50,000 because it's legal. I don't need it. And it wasn't for this purpose, but it's illegal. You know, I mean, is that patriotism? Let's try to screw America, you know, instead of, you know, ripping it off for as much as you could get, you know. And actually other stories recently. God, I mean, there was a story the other day about banks. 5 global banks were fined $6.7 billion. These are big American banks like J.P. Morgan Chase and Citicorp. 5.7 billion dollars. You know, and they pleaded guilty. Okay, they pleaded guilty to criminal charges. Criminal charges. That's right. Crime. What do you think of when you think of criminals? Jail, right? None of these people, nobody, they're not even prosecuting. That's right, rich people figure out a way around it. I guess because maybe they're hiding behind a corporation. That's why you can't trust corporations. Man, they don't go to jail. So you sign something or whatever to agree to something, some corporation, yeah, you go to jail, they don't. When they get caught. $6.7 billion fine, nobody's going to jail. They pleaded guilty to criminal charges. Wow. Well, how about the financial crisis in 2008? I mean, that's another thing. God, I mean, if you see, I mean, here's the guy who, from one of the big financial services industry who you know, testifying on Capitol Hill, and these, you know, these guys, nobody went to jail. You know, the people here's a quote from the guy who was the Inspector General. This is like the cop on the beat in the government for the Asset Relief Program. That's the one who gave the money out, you know, when we're in financial trouble and was supposed to make sure it's all right. He said, the folks responsible for this incredibly painful economic damage that struck the economy have gone free. You know how much the damage was? You know, they estimate it's $12 trillion. So these are all those Wall Street fat cats who cost $12 million. They ripped it off from the rest of the world, not only the country, but the world. I mean, our economy, you know, actually our federal budget is about close to $4 trillion. So this is $12 trillion. So this is like, you know, what is 3/4 of 12? 3 times the annual budget of the federal government. So if we close the government for 3 full years, I mean, our whole economy is only 17 billion. So it's close to a trillion. I mean, not billion, trillion, trillion, trillion. You and I don't know how much that is. It's just not a million. It's not a billion. It's a trillion. You know? They cause that kind of damage. That's what happened. This is why we don't have jobs now. Yeah, when everybody's struggling or whatever, man, you rip out $12 trillion from the economy, and that's what happens. But you know, if you're poor, now here's a photo of some guys who were ripping off at a store. They were getting expensive dental cleansing products or whatever for like $2,000. Now they're going to go to 2 to 5 years in jail, right? For $2,000 worth of dental products. You know, these guys for $12 trillion, nothing, nada. So it's funny to me how the world works, you know, and no wonder people get pissed. And I just think about it, if people love this country so much, why are they ripping it off? Everything from Social Security, you know, to the economy, to your neighbors or whatever. You signed a contract, but you know, you fraudulently represented that contract, right? Oh, but it's legal. I could still rip you off. You want to hang around somebody who's like that, but they pretend to be your friend, right? I'm your friend. Don't you forget about it. Take care. You know what I was thinking the other day is that, you know, having a job or working without your heart in it is sort of like, you know, making sex without love. Gosh, I mean, you know, the jobs that you're there for just for money and the work that you're doing just for money, sure, you know, I mean, you want the money, you need it to survive and everything, but boy, I mean, once you get the money, then things get old, man, you know, and it's not a full life. Just like sex is not much in itself, you know, besides those for a few seconds without real love. And it's hard really to think that way because we're after that, our bodily needs and our what we need to live on and things like that. But God, life is so much more. And so we're living around, we get caught living a life that's really just half full, yeah, and not complete. And that's why so many people, when they get all this money, now what they do, and they can't find something important to do. Well, I think, you know, is that capitalism traps us into that, you know, because oh, money's the only thing and things like that, and it traps us just to make money and think that that's the end all and be all, and it's not. I mean, we're here to grow, just like love. If sex was the only thing about love, then man, that's not a full life either, you know, because love and giving as hard as you can when you love somebody, I mean, that's what life is about. And I think our professional work is like that, you know. If we have a place to give our skills so much that we love doing it and we appreciate doing it, we're not just doing it for money. That's what all these big companies are like. They're just doing it for money, you know, and they pretend to like you, right? And they don't. They just want your money, you know, and things like that. So that's why it's a trap. It seems like capitalism, we're all trapped, you know, to work for money. We think that's the end all, and most of us dread going to that job every day. We don't like just for the money, because that's why you're working, just for money. If you have something bigger than you that you're working for, you know, and you feel that you're contributing or making a mark in life or helping other people, that's important to be there. Same way like love, you know, I mean, you know, if you're just there for the sex, man, you know, that's going to go away because that's only a few hours of your week, right? And you have to be with that person all the time, you know, so that's going to get old real fast, and that gets annoying real fast, just like a job gets annoying if you're not there for the right reasons. So that's why capitalism takes out your heart, takes out your soul, and leaves that home when you have to spend all day at work and you're there just for the money. What an empty life, you know. That's why capitalism is this trap. But there is a way to get paid and get money that you need, but doing something that's from your heart, doing something that's, you know, satisfies your soul too. And that seems to be the key in life. How do you find that? Now that takes work. It's not easy, but it's there. We all have ideas, right? How we think the world could be better if they just do this. Well, now in the history, you know, of the world, at least the world as we know it, it is easier to get your idea out there and make money than ever before. I mean, the internet allows that, you know, and now you have a chance to share your idea, whatever you think people will need, and it costs nothing to share and to find out. You know, before in our society, you had to work on something and try to develop it, see if it works, and shop it around to big companies, shop it around to investors, do all this kind of stuff. And the people out there are waiting years, you know, before you get it out there, maybe, to see if it'll sell. And you've been having it for 2 or 3 years. Now, it takes almost no time at all. Once you have the idea, you make a prototype and you put it on the internet and you raise money to take that idea. You know, I mean, the interview you're gonna see now is somebody got over $400,000 for their idea. It's a simple idea, you know, but it helps people make their life better too. Now, they invented something, it's a light that you could use 24 hours a day, and you don't need electricity. You just need like a bag of sand or a bag of rocks, and you pull it up and it works on the gravity system. It's a gravity light, and it works for about 20 minutes, and you pull it back up. So anywhere in the world, you can have this without electricity. You don't even need the sun like you do in solar. You have light forever with a bag of rocks. Now, in underdeveloped countries, this is a gold mine. I mean, it's great for camping and us in the back shed, you know, where we don't have lights and things like that, just to have lights in place we would never need. Or when we have power outages. I mean, that's the other thing. At least I don't know where you live. I live in a fancy neighborhood, so to speak, and God, there's nothing. We'd lose power for a few days. And then I get the flashlights and they're out of batteries, right? Because I haven't used them in a couple of years. You know? Well, now with a bag of rocks, I just pull the bag of rocks up and you know, for 6 feet, and they'll go for about 20-25 minutes. You know, and see, in underdeveloped countries who have no electricity at all, what they're living off of is kerosene, and they're breathing that stuff, you know, and that costs about 1/3 of their income. These people in poverty only make a couple dollars a day, and 1/3 of that money goes to lights at night. And that's a lot of money. Just think if you could save 1/3 of your income and didn't have to spend that anymore. So that's like getting you know, a 33% raise, right? That you could spend on other things that you could use. You know? So that's what they're doing. And they got over $400,000, you know, on the internet to develop that idea even further. They weren't even finished, you know, with the idea, and they were able to get that kind of money. And it's not from some venture person or fat cat or something, just individuals that are sending in the money. I believe in what you're doing. I think that's cool too. See, that's what's so neat about the internet. There are millions and millions, billions of people on it that could see your idea. You know, instead of your friends and relatives, they're probably not going to buy your idea anyway. So if you get it out there to enough people, you only need a couple hundred people maybe. You only need a couple dozen people, whatever. That's all you need. So when you're talking to billions, there's a bigger possibility of that being in there. The people who think like you and believe in it like you, and they're the people you're after. You could never find those people before, you know, as you can now on the internet. That's what's so wonderful about this thing that is in all our laptops and everything. That's why I think broadband is so important now. If you don't have good internet speed, you can't do anything in this world. You know? It's so dependent, unless you're fixing plumbing. But then even to get supplies and all that, it's so important. And also your ideas are important. Your ideas are for the rest of us. If you take the time to get your ideas and think it through and show them on the internet and get some feedback, and even if it's not wrong right the first time, nobody interested. They'll tell you what it should be, and that's what you need. You need that feedback to refine your ideas. And you could do that for free. You don't need experts telling you what to do, because they don't know. An expert that can tell you what will work or not. No, the public does. They're the only people who know for sure what's going on, and you could reach them and they'll tell you. And then if you're wrong, you just go back and try again. Life is just picking your butt up and trying again. But if you have something you believe in, you'll do that. If you have something you don't believe in, you'll go somewhere else. So watch this interview. Well, Caroline Angus, man, you and your buddies there are going to put the battery people out of work, but more importantly, you're going to create work for all of Africa and underdeveloped countries because of your light that is this magical light, a gravity light at gravitylight.org. Man, you guys invented this light that does nothing but runs on a sack of sand. How the hell does that happen?
I mean, you pretty much got it. Basically, you fill a bag with rocks or sand, about 10 to 12 kilos, attach it to gravity lights, and then lift the weight. And as that falls gradually over about 20-25 minutes, it generates power.
Wow. Never seen anything like, I mean, I've seen these cranks, you know, you get and all this kind of stuff or whatever, maybe, and way to recharge it. But actually, it'll never need a battery. I mean, like in the United States, I get one of these. I mean, I got to have it in my shed or whatever, as you guys say in your little video, which is wonderful. And you'll never need a battery in your life, and the sand never runs out. You can find another set of rocks if that doesn't work. And it really, the sack just goes down gradually to generate the electricity, right? And that keeps the power for about 20 minutes, and you put the sack up again. And
Yeah. And the beauty is it just takes a couple of seconds to lift again. So unlike your wind-up toys, which takes several minutes of hard labor. Yeah.
Right. And I've seen the bicycles, the batteries light up to a bicycle. So somebody's on a bicycle doing all this kind of stuff to generate the bike. Yeah, so you solved out that problem. But also you're creating, you're starting, actually, this crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo is also getting a supply chain in Kenya. So you're creating jobs in Kenya, saving people money in Kenya, because they now use kerosene lamps, which could cost them a third of their whole salary just to buy enough kerosene to have a light on after dark.
Yeah, exactly. So with gravity light, the idea is that eliminates kerosene lamp, that they can start saving money within 2 to 3 months of then that price being paid off. And saving families up to $70 around about a year, which is huge when you're living off $3 a day. And then the idea with the crowdfunding campaign, which we're about 15% away from.
Hey, you're almost there, almost there, almost there.
So it's exciting to in Kenya. So to create local jobs around putting together the gravity lights, and then to sell that in, Kenya, East Africa, and beyond. Our ambitions there are huge. We hope that every one of those 1.3 billion people without electricity will have a
1.3 billion people. That's more people that go to Walmart.
Yeah, it's one in five.
Yeah, 1 in 5 in the world. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they all need light. And you say I was telling you about my wife who works with sending young women to school in Africa. And you say lighting, even in Africa, man, it's not having the extra $40 to school. It's really being able to work at night after they do their chores. And without lights, you can't be a student in that country.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, even if you saw the video with the boy studying right next to a kerosene lamp, imagine sort of not just the fire and burn risk, but breathing in those fumes as well. Super cancerous fumes cause eye irritations, coughing. Not a nice thing to study by. So it's not really inducive to studying.
So it's not only improving education, improving health, improving longevity of life or whatever, and God, and it's all on. And now, actually, people get this if they want to use it at home now on your campaign for $70, or even help you with the project, because that seems to be important. The more important thing of this, that you've already raised almost on this campaign alone, almost close to $200,000, and it's really to set up a factory in Kenya so they create jobs, they create lighting as a fraction of what it would cost there. It's like the invention of, it's like Thomas Edison in Africa, is what you've done. Someone who's bringing electricity.
It's fantastic. I mean, Gravity Light touches upon, as you say, the health side of things, the education, tackling poverty, and then also eliminating CO2 and black carbon. So also thinking about climate change. It's got so many benefits that we're just excited to see how much support we've had so far and to make this a reality.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a game changer in that part of the world. I mean, and we take it so for granted in our country, and you got 1.5 billion people who just a light bulb changes their life. Man, where can you change a life in this country with a light bulb? You can't. So that's why you found that problem and solving it. So thank you so much for doing this work.
Country too, though.
Right.
I was just saying it's a game changer in your country, because if you think about Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Katrina, how many millions were without power for weeks? And without a battery, you can just store Gravity Light, have your bag of rocks handy, and set that to work.
Our electricity grid is so fragile now, it seems. It goes off all the time. I mean, I'm an old guy, so I don't remember losing electricity for like days and even weeks at a time as we are now. So one of these in the basement is better than that flashlight I have when I have to bring out every year or two and its battery's dead because I haven't used it. This thing will never die because your sack of sand or sack of rocks, nothing can happen to it. So that's terrific. And I think people, anyway, you should go to Indiegogo and see, actually go to your website, gravitylight.org, to see the video that you've created that shows the remarkable work that you're doing and this product that is just terrific. I mean, you know, and you guys are using the internet. You're not using big financial backers and everything. You got people helping other people around the world get what they need, and you're just doing it because you saw a problem and want to solve it. And I thank you for doing that work, Caroline. And it's gravitylight.org. Did I miss anything?
That's perfect. Thanks for spreading the word.
Thank you very much. And I miss being in London. I hope to be there soon again. Thank you so much. Take care. Okay, watch this next video, because here you'll start to understand why crowdfunding on the internet is so important to any business or idea. And it's not because of the money. It doesn't matter if you get the money or not. Right? This is a free source to get exposure, to let people know about your idea and your product or your potential invention or whatever it is. You don't have to get the money. It doesn't matter. You learn, you fail, but you get exposure, because this next person was seen, and they didn't even need the money. They could have launched this product without it, but they went and used the crowdfunding, you know, because that's where you get people to find out about your product. See, distributors, everybody who wants to market other people's product, and we all want somebody else to sell our stuff, right? Well, you go on these crowdfunding sites, because all the people looking for products to sell go there to see what kind of products that may be, you know, of interest to them, for them to sell. It's like, you know, going to a trade show, but you don't have to spend any money. You know, you go to a trade show, you get a booth that could run $10,000 or something like that, you know, before you get two people to man a booth 24 hours a day, you know, and all this kind of stuff. No, you put up a website. And now you have something for the media to talk about, for other people to talk about, because you have a product that's new, that's improved, that's what, it could be an existing product, yeah, that you're improving. Hey, I'm gonna come out with this. Who wants to know about it? And you write all about it and do a little video or whatever to show people about it, and then see the media gets excited about that. See, you can't, like when I was selling products, I used to go on talk shows, you know, and they used to do that, but I had to have the book. I couldn't go on a talk show and say, hey, I may write this book. Let me tell you about it. No. They wanted you to have a book in hand. They wanted you to have the book in bookstores. So I had to print 10,000, 100,000 books and have them, then go and publicize my book. Now you don't have to. You don't even have to have the book. I'm going to write a book like this. This is the stuff that's going to be included in the book. What do you think? And the media writes that up. People say, hey, I'd like to buy one of those books. And they start sending you money, because they don't want the book now. They understand it's going to take you 3, 4, 6 months or whatever to do the bloody thing. But now you have customers before you have a book, before you invested time and money in anything. Yeah, but see, forget about the money and the customers directly. It's that other stuff, that indirect stuff. You have bookstores calling you, hey, I want that book. I'll buy 10,000 of them to put in my bookstores, you know, or Walmart calls, you know, and wants 100,000 to put in their stores or whatever. See, that's how you find out about products, ideas, and stuff like that. That's where this country's going. You know, now you don't have to invest all the money ahead of time and build the biggest mousetrap in the world and have a garage full and waiting for people to call. No, you go out on these websites now because they got traffic. They're the people, you don't have to worry about traffic. They got people coming to their websites, you know. So if you put it on your own website, just think, if you put it on your own website, oh, I'm thinking about doing this book, and here's my website, you know, let me know what you think. You know, the media doesn't care. You put it on one of these crowdfunding sites, they care. Somehow that's legitimate. I mean, you're the same person. I understand. It's stupid logic, but that's the way the game is played. So if you want to use the system, you got to know how it's played, right? And it's changing. So whatever you thought the system was 5 years ago, whatever, that's not that way anymore. And in the future, even it's going to be less that way. Maybe it's a little bit now that way as old times, and people are hanging on to that because they're making money that way, and it's shrinking and it's shrinking, and it's eventually going to go away and go into these new ways that you got to start learning now. Don't be the last one on the train. So watch this video. Okay, well, Steven Simonson, and it's really wearmax.com, and you guys are going to be, you know, the lover boys, people with hardwood floors. You apparently are the only guys who figured out how to get those little scratch marks out of a hardwood floor that looks like lightning to the average viewer. And you just have this magic stuff you put on, and the light takes care of it, and it's gone forever. All these other tricks that they have in the supermarket that comes back, right? But yours doesn't come back. The monster stays away forever.
That's right.
So,
that's right. Ours is the first ever.
Wow. So what's the magic in this thing, you know, that makes, you know, puts all these big manufacturers out of business because you got the magic? What is this? Or you can't sell the sauce?
Well, of course, the super secret part
Right.
of the sauce, frankly, I don't even know. That's a But what I do know is the results. And the thing that is so different, it's the patent pending formula made here in the USA.
Uh-huh.
When you apply kind of the magic sauce on the, or serum, if you will, on the scratch, the white marks go away. White is a very kind of annoying thing to see in your hardwood floor. You have beautiful new hardwood floors, you get a scratch, and people, immediately their heart sinks, and they're like, oh, what do I do? And, you know, if you go online and you look at all these crazy remedies, you know, you rub a walnut in hands, there's all kinds of crazy ways to do it. And we're saying, hey, let's get rid of all that hocus pocus and get down to a very simple, you know, application, put it on, the white goes away immediately, it dries and cures under light and becomes a lasting part of that floor, and making it a permanent solution.
Wow. That's amazing. So nobody else has done it like you have. It's going to be available soon in the retail, but now it's on your crowdfunding campaign with Indiegogo, and you know, it's available like 30% off what you're going to buy soon in the market. So it's worth getting it now. Yeah. It's worth it. And actually, what I think it's worth going in to go is seeing your video. Man, your video is terrific. I mean, it just feels almost like a travelogue or something. You really say a lot in that video instead of pounding me on the head. You know, it's like some huckster salesman on TV or something like that. It's really a sweet video about floors.
Yeah, well, thank you. You know, those guys did a terrific job. And really, you know, this is a product that helps people's lifestyle improve, right? Instead of having those annoying lines, maybe you're having a dinner party, maybe it's around the holidays, so it doesn't matter. You don't want that stuff on your floor. And here's a solution that is truly unique, and it's something that I find to be very compelling because it actually works.
So it's sort of like you have a new BMW and somebody keys your new BMW and there's a scratch. Oh, that hurts you right to your heart. Yeah. So it's the same, and your hardwood floors probably cost as much as your BMW, and you could fix it so easily. They don't have that magic thing for your BMW yet, do you?
Not yet.
Yeah.
But you're quite right. The cost of hardwood is very expensive, and the ideas of, you know, how do you fix it? Do you have to replace the board? Do you refinish the floor? Do you replace the entire floor? These are costly, crazy ideas, and the solution is instead just, you know, apply this little small solution and right here.
This is a new product. You have a new formula, but it's been out thousands of customers already, but this is the first time you're doing, you know, crowdfunding. And you really don't even need the money, right? So why are you doing? I mean, you can always use money, right? But it's not necessary to do the product, right? And so what's your logic in using, you know, crowdfunding in a source where you're already more or less in the market?
Well, the first part of our entry to the market was a beta, really to confirm what we understood. And so throughout that beta, we've now put the final formula, the final tweaks into it, and we've just now produced. And you're right, to bring the product to market, we really didn't need the crowdfunding as the solution, but we see it as a way to shout to the world, hey, we're ready. It's time. It's go time. And the product is brilliant, it's beautiful, and we're getting worldwide exposure we would have never gotten on our own. It's amazing how far it reaches.
Wow. So in other words, you're picking up not only customers you could never find anywhere else, but you're picking up maybe distributors and things like this you wouldn't find anywhere. I mean, it costs you tens of thousands of dollars to try to find these people to sell your stuff, right?
That's exactly right. You know, we've had distribution inquiries from as far away as Australia and Europe, and, you know, even South America as well.
Wow. Wow. I mean, and it really in theory, it costs nothing to put it on crowdfunding. I mean, you have to produce some stuff, but you don't have to give them a check until you get money. So, so it really costs you nothing. So even if you lose, you win.
I mean, listen, crowdfunding is brilliant because it allows everybody to, say their piece, and certain guys, get a little bit more exposure than other guys, but it doesn't matter because whatever you get is worth it, right? And the links and the exposure and the branding, I think crowdfunding is an extraordinary advantage for entrepreneurs today to launch a product and get exposure.
Or even to boost the product, is what you're doing. You're boosting your product, right? Yeah. No, I think so too. I mean, God, it's just phenomenal. I mean, 20, 30 years ago, you couldn't have done it. 10 years ago, you couldn't have done this. But you can today. So anybody out there, could be just like Stephen and his magic Wearmax. And it's wearmax.com. Get in on the deal before he's going to have to charge you more. So on the crowdfunding campaign. And it's magic stuff that helps. God, you sink all this money into your floors, and it's so easy to, just have them mess up by some accident, and now you can fix it. All yourself. You don't have to bring in the floor guy who's going to charge you another $10,000 or whatever to fix it. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Stephen. And it's Wearmax, WEARMAX.com, right? Right. Wonderful. Well, thank you again. Take care, Steve. If you could listen to this, and understand what I'm saying, then you have a business right in your own mouth and ears, and you don't even know it. And it costs you nothing to get money from it. And it's actually helping people learn English. If you know how to speak English, you're qualified to teach a lot of people English, and you don't even know it. And that's the problem. Now, this next interview will show you all about that. There's a young woman who got out of college and whatever, decided to travel. And the way she traveled was going to the other countries and teaching people English. And how much they pay for you, or maybe even they don't pay you. It's a way to go to another country and explore the country and do something of value than sitting on the bloody beach and getting hooked up with the local people. Or in some countries they pay you, and that's a big business. I've talked to people who just get out of college or whatever, and they go other countries and teach it. And there's billions and billions and billions of people who want to learn English now. We're so fortunate living in this country because we know how to speak English. I just came back from Shanghai, and I've been studying Mandarin, for 3 or 4 years, and I know about 12 words, And I get over there, and I'm going to the Starbucks, in Shanghai, and struggling with my Mandarin, trying to order coffee, and the guy didn't understand, the Chinese guy there, and he says, "Come on, speak English. What do you want?" They all want to learn English. See, we are the biggest market in the world. So everybody wants to know English. People in Asian countries, they spend fortunes for their kids to learn English. Send them here to school or whatever, or fly them to the Philippines, to study English and things like that. So if you there and show up, man, I could teach people English. That's a town, that's a school. Or right here in this country, we have so many immigrants now coming in, and that's where we're going to grow this country anymore. It's really through immigrants, because we're not generating enough of our own people that are born here. So that's the growth in the country, and they want to teach English. And now, so you need just like the basics, things about how to do it or whatever. And that's what this website this woman built, that she hardly charges anything at all. Most of it is free. She'll help you for free find what countries to go to if you want to teach overseas. She has lesson plans for if you want to teach right here. It doesn't take a rocket science. Don't forget your pupil doesn't speak English, so you're up on the game. But it's something you could learn. The same way I'm trying to learn Mandarin. I work with a woman who's who works in she manages a restaurant in the local mall, and she's not a professional language teacher or whatever. I mean, it's just the practice. That's how you learn anything. And that's why now with our global economy just shrinking and shrinking, and we're coming interdependent, and English is the most important language in the world. That's right. Everybody wants to know English, and you know how to talk it. You're one of the few people. There's only 300 million of us here, and there's like 6 billion in the world, you know. So you got an up on everybody because you know it. So you could figure out how to market that skill, how to make money out of it, things like that. It's fun, and you're learning other people's culture, literature, and everything. It's just fun. I mean, I had so much fun now trying to learn Mandarin and learning another culture. These are people who brought 50 million people or hundreds of million people out of poverty, you know, just in a couple of years, you know, and we're stuck with 50 million people in poverty. That needle hasn't moved since I've been an adult, yeah. And so it's a fascinating thing going on in the world, and this is a way to learn. This is a way to get excited about life again. This is a way to train your mind. I'm studying language, so I call it my Alzheimer's prevention program. See, I run every day, and I'm an old guy, 72 years old. I run 4 or 5 miles or walk fast, run, whatever. Right now my back is a little achy, so I go and run a couple miles and I walk the rest. Keep that moving so I know that's necessary. Now, how do I make the brain go? I worry more about Alzheimer's and this brain not working than my legs or body or anything like that. So I was trying, what's the hardest thing for me to learn? And I was like, Mandarin. That sounds hard as hell. And it is. So I struggle with that. And I go on my iPhone here and I listen to, you know, ni hao ma. You know, and it's just a wonderful experience. But here's how to make money out of it too. And it costs you nothing to do. And you just have to start finding customers. And this website helps you do that too. So watch. Okay, Zaria Gaddafi, and no relation, right?
You're right, that's right, no relation, no relation.
To the Gaddafis that a lot of us know about. But you are an international lady, man. And so you've really started a business and a career and a lifestyle and everything around language study and teaching people. I mean, you traveled the world, you know, on other people's nickel because you just go to these other countries and say, hey, I'll teach you English. And you get paid, or you get, you know, you have a great time, or whatever. So now you have a clearinghouse for people who want to do this, right? And people who. So tell us about it. I mean, it's EnglishHub.org, and you're not some greedy sucker like, you know, who are those people that I bought the CD for $500? You know, when I was trying to marry. What are they called again? Who are they? You know, Smiley. Who is that CD on the expensive for learning language? Yeah, Rosetta Stone. You know, I'm so sure, man, they want an arm and a leg. And you go to these classes or something to learn language, they want hundreds or thousands of dollars. But it's more, I mean, you're looking at both sides, educating people about career opportunities in this, travel opportunities in this, even if you don't want a career, helping your neighbors. I mean, now where we live, you and I live in Washington, so many foreign speaking people, they need to know the language. So you could build up with your materials and website, be a trainer, be a teacher, and start making money at a career. Right. Wow. Well, it's so exciting. So how do people do this? What do they do?
Well, that's the thing. The thing is that I kind of fell into the career and it worked out really well for me. And I was like, oh, a lot more people should be doing this. It should be easier to do this. More people should know about it. So that's my mission, is to help people get out into the world teaching English or learning English. Traveling the world, making money. I lived in Vietnam, I lived in Brazil, I lived in Paraguay, all like basically in my 20s. I made great friends, and I also built all of these materials for teaching English, and I got better and better. And I realized that there are a lot of places to go get English learning materials, but they're not that strong. Maybe they're crowdsourced, or they're made kind of quickly, but they're not like what you would call like beautiful lessons, you know? So either you have to buy a textbook, or you have to recreate your own thing, which a lot of teachers do, or you have to get worksheets that aren't that nice, you know, from other websites for free. So my objective is to give you more options, to come to my website where you can learn about teaching English abroad, find out about all the best websites that are out there, what you can get for free, and you can also come to my store and get wonderful worksheets for teaching adults on your own. If you're living in another country, you can just download a cool lesson, and you've got enough lessons to teach for 2 weeks for one of your private students, and you paid like $1 or $2 for the lesson, you know?
But even here, I mean, we have people need to learn speak English here. And I don't mean native borns, but I mean, we have so many immigrants now that are struggling from Asia or whatever. And actually, somebody told me the other day, maybe you would know that, there's more English-speaking people in China than there are here.
I wouldn't doubt it. But they probably speak something that we call Globish, which is like, it's not necessarily American English, it's not British English, it's communicative English. It's what people around the world speak. So it's called Globish.
Well, I mean, we're still the biggest market. The whole world wants to know how to speak English. So everybody in this country now who is born here or knows English language, man, has a tool that is sellable, don't we?
Absolutely. And I really feel like a lot of people kind of fall into the industry, or they find out about it through a friend, and there really should be more people who know about it. Like, no, if you don't want to teach in certain countries, then you're not going to become a millionaire doing it. But you can use this as a springboard for your next career, or you can use it to learn more about yourself. And of course, you actually can make money if you are willing to go to those countries where you can make money. And you can learn about that when you come to the EnglishHub.org and just visit all the links that we provide.
To me, see, even retirees, older people, I mean, we have so many goddamn old people like me in this country, you know, what do they do with their life? You know, instead of like joining Peace Corps and being committed and all that kind of stuff for 2 years, man, they can do what you do and makes a little extra money in Vietnam teaching English or whatever.
That actually happens. Actually, I was trying to get my dad to move to Thailand after he retired. And actually, we had 1 or 2 gentlemen from the United States come into our school off the street in Hanoi, Vietnam. And after interviewing them and talking to them, we realized we could train them, and we actually hired them to teach English. Both of them had a connection to Vietnam, like maybe they had served or they were just close to it. A certain generation is just close to the Vietnam War, and they're interested in Vietnam, exactly. And so these guys just, you know, they took their money, they came to Vietnam on a ticket for, you know, $1,500 or whatever, $900. And they just started peddling the ground, like looking for English schools. The thing is that when you jump into this career, it's really, really confusing. And you realize that you actually don't know a lot about English. There's so much to know for someone who's not learning it from babyhood. Right. So this is what the English Hub is for. It's to help like solve those problems, to have like flashcards for you, slides.
So you got lesson plans, all that kind of stuff for people.
And cool worksheets so you can watch How I Met Your Mother or Friends with your students, and they can still be actively learning English.
No, you're right, because I work with a woman, my Mandarin, who runs a restaurant here in the mall, and yeah, she's good to talk to her, but to have if she had more lesson plans and things like that organized, and she's not equipped to do that. She's very kind, and it's helpful, but yeah, and that loses that momentum, not having that material in front. So you're saying for a few dollars you can get that, and now you look like you're from Harvard teaching English, right?
I had another friend who she spoke Mandarin in her house growing up, but she wanted to improve, and she met online a gentleman who was a native Mandarin speaker who wanted to improve his English. They agreed to meet at McDonald's twice a week in exchange, but she didn't know how to teach him because he could very easily teach her characters and simple things, but he wanted her to like teach her like American history and things that she wasn't equipped for. He'd be like, just tell me about this war, and it's like, I don't really know about this war. So this is why you need EnglishHub.org. You need the English Hub so that you can come and get something from us, or we'll direct you to other websites that have free or cheap material.
Well, that's what's so nice, I think, about what you're doing. I mean, you're there for people who say, hey, I'm thinking about teaching abroad, what's good and bad about what country I should go to do this and things like that. Because, man, you go and Google help like that, and you're going to get some, huckster is going to charge hundreds or thousands of dollars to do any of this stuff. And it's so hard to read in between the cracks, because the people make all that money, spend their money to make sure they're on page 1.
Yes, that's true. It's true. And ESL is an industry that's so under-regulated. And it's just international. It's all over the place, but there's not a lot of regulations about how people get certificates. As a teacher hiring somebody, as a school administrator, when I look at their resume and they say they got a TEFL certificate, I'm looking at like how many hours they did practicum, how many classroom hours, because some people can go online and get one online and it's nothing, you know, and you don't really learn anything. It really, really depends. So this website is supposed to help you get familiar with the industry. And, you know, it's supposed to like introduce you to it. Or if you're already in the industry, just give you what you need, you know, so you can go to Brazil, go to Rio, download worksheets and start teaching people what they want to learn.
That's terrific. You know, and actually, I mean, what I also see, I mean, it sounds like you were doing this as a career, as a professional, and said, hey, then you saw business in this, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And I also fell into that. At one point I realized that I couldn't move on with my life until I had acquired so much knowledge and information and stuff that I was like, I have to find a way to compile this and give this to the world. It's also part of my personal mission, because I believe that when people travel, it opens their minds. And I believe that a key to the world becoming a better place is for people to get out of their comfort zones. So I really, really want more people to travel and have the opportunities I had, especially.
I came back, you know, my trip to to Shanghai last year. Man, I came back just full of ideas and things to do. I mean, I've never been so energized in my life. I just had to get out of my own crap to see how bad my life is and what I should do about it.
Yeah. It helps you be a better survivor. When you've been like pickpocketed in another country, you've lived through dengue fever, or even just gone through the sorrow of being in a foreign country with no friends and getting over it and finding friends. It makes you a better survivor in life. Like, it makes you a resilient person.
That's what we need. We don't need a magic pill. We need to build up resilience in ourselves so we can handle it. Not something fake that make us go through the day. Man, be strong inside. And that's what it is. And the way to be strong inside. I think it's so important now. The world's so small. Man, you know, you just can't deal with people in Iowa all day. You know, people are knocking on your door on the internet from all over the world. And you got to have a sense of that. And that's what the EnglishHub.org does. You know, and Zaria is there to help you anything with the English. She wants to pour her heart into this work. She wants to pour her heart into business and help you feel that same feeling she does, right?
That's right. That's exactly correct.
Thank you so much. You've been a delight, and thank you. People don't realize that we did this last week and I screwed up. The dog ate my video or something.
Dog ate my homework.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you so much. It was so great talking to you.
See you, Tris! Right.
EnglishHub.org.